Could your chronic acne actually be caused by poor gut health? This is the very first pillar in the 5 acne clearing pillars that we work on with our clients over in the Clear Skin Solution. And it is such a foundational component. So that's why I wanted to start our 5-part series going through gut and all of the different issues that could be actually causing your acne. So if you're someone who has tried literally everything under the sun to clear up their skin, the products, the treatments, the medications, but you're still coming up short and you're dealing with the chronic acne after all of these things, we need to start looking internally and at a really in-depth way. So when we're talking about gut health, this, is a really popular term all over TikTok and Instagram and the internet, but we have to be looking at what components of our gut health are not doing so well that's causing inflammation and leading to acne. So having worked with well over 2,000 clients all over the world struggling with acne, just like you, we can see that there's really 3 main gut issues that are causing the inflammation leading to the acne. We're going to break down each one individually, but to give a quick little overview, we have digestion, we have leaky gut, and we have pathogens. In the digestion area, this is the very first thing we work on with our clients over in the Clear Skin Solution, because if digestion's not working, then you're not absorbing all of the nutrients. Okay, let's look at our stomach acid, which is going to be responsible for breaking proteins down in the body, absorbing things like zinc and B12. We need to be looking at enzyme function. So these are the digestive enzymes also breaking down like your carbohydrates. Then we need to be looking at our bile. This is something that's produced by the liver, stored in the gallbladder, and the body utilizes to break down fats and eliminate toxins. So if we have poor bile flow, we're actually going to be seeing an impact for our hormones because our hormones rely on fats to help with hormonal production. So you can see that whether it's low stomach acid, it's poor bile flow, low digestive enzyme function, all of these things can be contributing to really poor digestion in the gut. So what happens if we're dealing with poor digestion? Well, there's a number of things. First is it's going to allow all of the food in your gut to sit there, putrefy and ferment, especially proteins. And this is going to be providing that perfect little Mandarin buffet for all of the bad bacteria and yeast in your gut and allow them to eat to their heart's content, overgrow, and then that's going to be impacting our gut lining. It's going to be leading to more inflammation and causing more acne. And if we're also not breaking our food down, we're not getting all the wonderful nutrients that our food has to offer. So if you're eating the best diet in the world, it doesn't really matter because you're not absorbing the vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients that your body needs to function, because our food is actually fuel for our body. So if we're not able to break down fats, our hormone production is going to suffer. Maybe we are seeing malabsorption of our nutrients. So now we're dealing with our brain function isn't working well because your brain needs nutrients to function. Our energy metabolism, our skin cells need this for skin repair, our gut lining. Our body heavily relies on these nutrients. Another component is if we're not breaking our food down, maybe we're leading to bloating, gas, constipation. And if we're dealing with constipation, this is a really big issue for acne sufferers. So many of our acne sufferers are dealing with chronic constipation and many don't even know it. So first, let's talk about how the constipation impacts skin and then what we need to be looking for in a really healthy bowel movement. So if we're dealing with chronic constipation, we're not effectively and efficiently removing the stool from our digestive tract. If it's sitting there too long, then the stool, which is being used to get rid of excess hormones, toxins, bacteria, these things start to reabsorb back into the body, into the bloodstream, travel throughout the body and head back to the liver. This is going to start overwhelming the liver because the things the liver just got rid of, it's now headed back into circulation. And the liver's already moved on to the next set of things it's trying to work on. So it becomes sluggish, it gets overwhelmed, and now we're dealing with an increase in toxicity, inflammation, hormonal balance in the body. Now, if we're on the other end of the spectrum where we're dealing with chronic diarrhea, this means that everything's moving through our digestive tract way too quickly. So again, we're not able to absorb all of the wonderful nutrients our food has to offer because it's headed on out of the body way too quickly. So let's take a look at the Bristol stool chart. This shows 7 different types of bowel movements. In an ideal world, we would want to be having a bowel movement that looked like number 3 or number 4. This is one long, smooth, snake-like movement with minimal cracking. If our bowel movements are looking about a type 1 or a type 2, this is going to be signaling that we have chronic constipation. And if we are looking at a type 5, 6, or 7, this is showing us that we have chronic diarrhea. Now, when we're within that type 3 or 4, we want to be having 1 to 3 bowel movements every single day, and there's going to be no straining. It's going to pass very easily, so we're not in the bathroom for 15-20 minutes at a time. We're also not going to be seeing any undigested food, blood, or mucus in the stool. This is an ideal bowel movement, and so many of our clients come in not realizing this is what a healthy poop should look like because nobody really grows up talking about, well, what does your poop like? How often are you going to the bathroom? But this can be a really big window into the body. Our skin and our bowel movements are 2 key windows into the body. So what are some signs that we could be dealing with poor digestion? Well, we're going to be dealing with acne. Maybe we have oily oily skin. Maybe we have those chronic digestive symptoms like bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea. Maybe we have heartburn or GERD. These are all different signs that we're not effectively breaking our food down. Or, maybe we're dealing with nutrient deficiencies. So if you have nutrient deficiencies popping up, this could be another signal that your body is actually not digesting at an optimal way. Now this leads us into gut issue number 2. This is called leaky gut. You may have heard this slang term before, and it actually stands for intestinal permeability. Now, leaky gut happens when the tight cell junctions in our gut, right? They're nice and snug all together. When they become irritated, they pull apart, and this allows for undigested food particles, toxins, bacteria that isn't supposed to be in the bloodstream on into the body where they're not supposed to be. This is going to be causing systemic or body-wide inflammation, which is going to be leading to oxidative stress, and this inflammation and oxidative stress is going to be leading to acne. So when we're looking at that leaky gut, the tight cell junctions can become irritated by chemicals in our food, by, inflammatory foods, processed foods, maybe alcohol, medication, chemicals in our water. Anything that's coming in has the potential to irritate. So if we have a lot of these irritants in the gut, this is where we're going to be seeing the leaky gut occur, and we're going to be seeing that increase in the inflammation. Now, we want to be remembering that digestion and inflammation in pathogens, which we're talking about next, are all very interconnected. Because when we're going into pathogens, we need to be looking at things like Candida, which is a yeast that naturally lives on and in the body. The issue, however, arises when it's allowed to overgrow. It can overgrow from a processed diet, a lot of refined carbohydrates, low stomach acid. Candida is going to be impacting the gut lining as well. Or maybe we're dealing with something like SIBO, which stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Maybe we have any number of other bacterial overgrowths happening. Maybe we have parasites. Any types of these different pathogens is going to be leading to increased inflammation in the body and thus leading to acne. So these are the 3 things we really need to be working on when it comes to chronic acne. And for our acne sufferers that we work with over in the Clear Skin Solution, we generally work on all 3 of these things. It's very, very rare that we don't see 2 or 3 of these things happening for every single client that we work with. So this is why we often hear people saying, oh, hey, Katie, I started taking a probiotic and I'm eating fermented food, but my skin's not doing any better. And the reason being is because you haven't gotten down into the nitty gritty and the individual issues that are afoot. Because if we have a client who has poor bile production and a candida overgrowth, their protocol of proper food and supplements and lifestyle habits is going to be really different for somebody who, say, has low stomach acid and SIBO. We don't have this overarching cookie cutter approach where these are the exact foods, the exact supplements that you need to be eating. It needs to be very individualized to the gut imbalances happening within. And you may be wondering, well, how do I figure out these gut imbalances? Can I just go and get a blood test from my doctor? Unfortunately not. We are really, really big on functional testing for our clients. We run a hair trace mineral analysis with every single client comes in. It's going to be giving us some really incredible insights into the imbalances in the body. Based on the mineral ratios, we can see, could there be possible low stomach acid, maybe some yeast interference happening. We also have clients that decide to upgrade to a GI map, and they're able to see the specific strains of bacteria and parasites and H. pylori and all of these different things that could be hanging out in the gut as well. And some different symptoms that we're going to be looking out for when we're dealing with, say, pathogens or leaky gut. There's so many issues that can be popping up, and it's not just those classic digestive issues. Are you dealing with acne? If you're watching this, you most likely are. Do we have headaches? Do we have low energy? Do we have insomnia? Do we have stubborn weight gain? Now, if you're dealing with these types of gut issues, I highly recommend working with a qualified practitioner, because there are nuances and ways that you want to be properly working on these to ensure that you're fixing your gut in the right way. Now, if you want to work with us over in the Clear Skin Solution, where we do this day in and day out, of course, we would love to have you. I will put the link for you to learn more below. Now, let's talk about a few foundational things that we can be doing just for our gut health in general. Now, you can also, while you're in the caption below, you can download my free gut loving cheat sheet that has all of these tips, so you can take that with you. But to go over them, the first one is going to be, let's chew our food really, really well. Digestion actually begins in the mouth, with your teeth physically breaking your food down, and your saliva contains enzymes that are also helping to break your food down. So when you swallow your food after it's been chewed to a paste-like consistency, the burden on your stomach is a lot less, because it's able to better break your food down and start absorbing those nutrients. The next one is going to be avoiding copious amounts of liquids with meals for about 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. Because if we're already dealing with low stomach acid, low enzyme function, then just pouring in tons of copious amounts of water and liquid is going to be dampening down our digestive ability. So that's why we kind of want to avoid having too much with our meals. Small sips is okay, but let's not be chugging a liter of water while we're going into a meal. And that final one is going to be, let's eat in a relaxed setting. And the reason being is your nervous system. So if we are stressed, we're in an argument, we're watching something stressful, stressful, we're doom scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, this can actually be putting our body into a state of fight or flight. And when we go into fight or flight, this is effectively shutting down our digestive process because the body's like, oh my gosh, we're running from a saber-toothed tiger or a bear. I need to divert all my energy away from digestion in order to power my limbs in order to run away. Your body doesn't know that you're just having a heated argument with a coworker and you're not actually running from a bear. So when you're eating in a relaxed setting, this allows for your digestive system to fire. It allows for your stomach acid to produce a lot better and helps you break your food down and absorb it a lot better. And some other things we can be doing for our gut health is really lessening the amounts of inflammatory foods that we're eating. And if you want to be learning a little bit more about anti-inflammatory nutrition, I also linked a blog that we have on that below, so you can start incorporating these tips into your day-to-day to improve the health of your gut. All right, so next week we're going into pillar 2 of the 5 acne clearing pillars. That will be detoxification. So make sure you subscribe so you get notified and give us a like while you're there.